Hi. Okay. I thought I'd share with you my findings and how I managed to do my project with PD getting integrated into Unity. Um, okay. First, I started to build my PD patch, and then halfway through, I thought, well, I best check to see how I integrate into Unity actually. And first time, I decided to sign up to Heavy because Heavy allows you to build patches, and when you put them in, it gives you the code, and you're able to put it in Unity, and it's good stuff. But the problem was that when I came to it, I realised because it don't support some objects. Uh, oh, sometimes the website does play up as well, like it's doing now. So this, as you can see here, there's some PD objects that I don't support at present, which they will hopefully be working on for the future, which I can imagine they will be. And it turns out that pretty much most of the objects that I was using in my PD patch were not supported. So then I had to think about different options, how I'm going to get the PD patch integrated and working within Unity. So I ended up coming across Kalimba. Kalimba is actually a very cool and quite, once you understand, it's actually quite simple. There's not much lines of code you need to use. And what's great about this package is they actually give you a Unity template project just to show you how they've used it, and you can work from a new scene within that Unity project and continue from their patch. If you can just remove everything and just keep like literally 2 PD objects in it, which I'll show you now. So basically, I downloaded the package from the GitHub. So I'll show you the Kalimba GitHub. So here, if you go to, you can clone it if you know how to use your terminal. As for Apple, if you're happy to use that. If not, then you can just download the zip. When you I'll show you how it is now, because I've actually got a finished project, but I'll show you how I start to do it. So if you download the zip, okay, desktop. Okay. So yeah, it's for mobile apps more so, but you can still just use it on desktop and show the PD being integrated in there. The only slight downfall is that the PD patch does need to be open when you're doing it. I'll show you now. So they've got the Unity project here. So it's Unity 3D assets. You go to the scenes and it's called Audio Test Unity, and I'll open it up for you now. I'm using Unity version 2017.3.1, just to let you know. I've got 2 here because one's my finished and one is theirs, but I'll show you theirs. Okay, so this is the project. It's simple, but it's got important information in there. So if you come here in the project section here, you've got your streaming assets and their PD patch. The PD patch has to be open, as I mentioned before, and switched on. But I think apparently then once it's integrated into the mobile devices, iOS or Android, then it knows how to compress and encode everything, and then obviously the patch won't need to be open because it's already on the mobile device. This is what it comes, and what's important about this, it's just showing you how it works. If I turn on the DSP, so when you press play, it comes up with a GUI, graphic audio interface, which they've done. And hopefully when I press, you should see some bangs go off in the PD patch. So if I put sign on, see the bang up here? Off, bang down here. So when I bang it on, you see it. And then off down here. So great. That's it. You've already got the PD patch integrated into Unity. That's the demonstration. And what's also important to know is with their scripts, there's only one. Which I'll open for you now. Kalimba pdint and kalimba.openfile. This is the Kalimba test PD. That is their PD patch at the moment, which I'll show you. So it's named here Kalimba test.pd. And then the other important line of code is this Kalimba.send bang to receive, and then they've named this sign underscore on, but I'll show you later what changes when you do your project. But the main ones is these two lines of code here and this send bang to receiver, and this is pretty much all I used for my project, and it worked lovely. But I'll show you how I've done it. So bear in mind, it's best to take a screenshot of this and you can put it to one side. So say if I took a screenshot now, and then the just in case as well, just take a whole screenshot of theirs, and then if anything, breaks or goes weird, maybe go back again or just get the project again, download the project again. But it's good to have the code because you're going to need it a bit later anyway, those 3 lines of code which I just spoke about. So what I did for mine is I set up to file, and I put new scene within their project, and then I saved it as, I'll go to PD project, I'll just name it. Now you'll see my project here, but I'm going to move it over to scenes. So there's my one now, which I am now on. So I'm no longer on theirs now. So what I did is I thought I'll put a simple plane in. So put a plane. This is just purely to show you, because the aim of what I was trying to do is I thought wouldn't it be cool if my bespoke PD audio tool triggers the synthesized sounds, but I'm not only using synthesized sounds, I'm using WAVs as well, so there's a mixture when you walk into Kaleido zones. So I've done a WAV, and then I built a wall and made I made a plane, built a wall, just make it look a little bit pretty, game object, put that in there. Also, I imported assets, import, and then I imported the characters as well. So you can have a character obviously to walk around and trigger the Kaleido zones. From here, with the PD patch, which you've seen here, what I did, oops, that's because I've opened it twice, so I need to get rid of that one. So if you go into edit mode, I literally got rid of all of this, So still the original patch, but I'm just adding to it now. And that's all I kept, and then I renamed it. So let me just close that and then save as, and now I've renamed this patch. And I'll just put it as PD. Let's go project again. Save. So when I go back into my PD, you should see mine. So now really, all these three, I can just get rid of now. Yes. And what I did is I built my patch beforehand, which made it easier when I added it to this. So literally I just built mine and I've copied and pasted it over. Well, I've had to make new object, and then you put PD and then name it, and that opens up a new window. And then I copied and pasted mine, and then I just made the bangs again and attached them to the DAC. But I'll show you that now. So basically that, and this is how I built off it, and I'll show you my project now. So if I quit that one, and this is how my ones came out. So there you go, into the Unity, the assets, the scenes. Mine is Sharon Bespoke middleware. There's theirs originally, and all I've done is set up a new scene within their project. So this one's my one. So this is my project. This is the new scene that I've built within the Kalimba packages Unity project. I just set up a new scene, and I've added in some walls, a plane, and each of these are collider boxes, and I've just added in some shaders on there, just colour to fancy up a bit basically, and added some prefabs in there. But the main thing that you need to concentrate is these collider zones, which are box colliders, and I've named these just for easy finding. It's good practice as well, so you know where things are within your hierarchy when you're trying to find things. So military cube, red alert cube, intruder cube, warning vocal cube, self-destruct sphere should be cube. I can just quickly change that now. Doesn't matter if you change this, it's just literally so you know you can find it. Alarm cube, alien warning vocal cube, and police cube. And I'll show you how these work and how they trigger in a moment. Let's get this a bit closer. There we go. So this is my patch. So you're in the Unity project, you go down to your stream and assets folder, PD, and this is the new patches that I've built and integrated in. So this is my finished patch. So keeping these object and message box from the previous Kalimba PD patch. Each of my other patches I made was singly. I made single patches, and now what I've done is if you type in PD and then whatever the name of the patch you want, it opens up a new window. And I've copied and pasted these over, so it's a sub patch within a patch. It's a sub patch within the main patch. And I've done just a few of them. Some of them are WAVs. Some of them are synthesized sounds from Andy Volnell's site, and I'll just quickly show you him now. This is a brilliant site to look at, especially if you're new to it, get started, just in general, even if you are good with PD. I mean, this is just a really good website to look around on. It gives you a lot of information. It gives you a lot of patches to play around with. Aspress, designing sound. And what's good about this site is he gives you loads of patches and you can download them, and the good thing is you just play around with them, change objects, add object, change objects, add objects, change the numbers, the maths, and just play around, see what happens when you add and take away things and break lines. It's good practice. Before I'd done this also, I've only done a bit of PD, but not in this depth. So I had to go and look at some YouTube videos just to give me inspiration and just try and spot what I kind of did last time to just remind me of things. But he gives you loads of videos on this guy here and also this guy here as well. It's just good to have a look, see how to make simple patches and build up from them. And then if you go on back on the Andy Fennell's one, you can see it in more detail. It's just good practice and it helped me a lot. And I'll show you my patch now. So when you first open the patch, then you have to turn on DSP. In each of these patches, and you don't necessarily have to do this, but each one has this PDADSR, which is an envelope generator attached. And I've done this in all of them. You don't have to have it on, but what's good about this patch, which I managed to download from the audio programming blog .wordpress.com, and it just gives you a bit of information of what's going on with these sliders and what this actually patch does, and it gives you the link where you can download it. The only problem is when you first open up your project, you've got to remember that if these will automatically always go back to this. So if you saved it and you moved them up, when you reopen it again, it would just go back down again. So at the moment there'll be no sound when I'm banging. So you would need to turn some of these up, and I'll just give you a quick run over what's going on in this envelope generator. So just turn some of these up, and now you should hear a sound source. So now you can hear. I can stop it. So what this envelope generator is doing, this patch in general doesn't actually make any sound. What it does, it generates the level and changes things over time of the sound source that's been attached to this patch. So anything that's been attached to this patch, the ADSR patch, you can manipulate the attack, the decay, the sustain release, segment length, attack length, sustain level, note level. You don't have to do this, but the reason why I've done this is because attack is this is the time it takes for the sound to reach its peak volume, also known as the loudness, the amplitude. So if you had the slider right down here, for instance, the audio source will come in straight away. But if you put the attack up, it goes up as if you're going up a hill. And then you can hear that it's got loud. And then the decay. The decay is, it's the time it takes for the sound to reach its normal level of volume, and then it starts coming down. And then when it comes down, the sustain is how long it takes for the audio to stabilize. So you can have it stabilize straight away or over a period of time. So all of these work in time. So attack, depending on the time, if you want it to be later or fast. Same as decay, sustain, and release. Release is basically the time it takes for the sound source to release its volume. So when the sound source is finished, silence. Segment length is if you can have just a bit of the audio source playing, or the full length of the audio source. So if I do just a little bit here, I'll give you a demonstration. Stopped. Again, if I do it here, and that's it. But if I pull this up, it'll play the whole audio source. And then the attack level is the same as the attack, sustain. Note level is like the volume output of the note, the sound source really. But what's good about this, I mean, instead of coding in lines of code in the script within the Unity project, you can just play with these sliders, and it's just good little effects. Instead of the audio sound just playing and then stopping, you can have the audio sound gradually come in and then gradually go out. You can have it at a level and then fall out, the release, or you can have the segment play a whole or just half of it or quarter of it. And the note, I mean, it's just, you can do that in Unity anyway. That's quite an easy one really, but the main ones that attack, decay, sustain and release, it saves lines of code. And this patch in general, this is a WAV patch. This is my military alarm WAV patch. Also, it's good to let you know any abstractions and the WAVs used within your patches. So this one is using a WAV. This one has extractions. It's important to put, so with the main PD patches, you need to put the WAVs as well as any extractions in the same area. Because if you don't, when you're trying to call, it won't know where to find the WAVs. And if the extractions are not there, you usually get a red dotted line around the object box, which usually means it's missing the abstraction. So you need to put the WAVs and any abstractions from the patch that you used in the same area. Yeah, so some of them contain WAVs. This one I have as a loop. So it just keeps looping and looping and looping and looping. You don't necessarily have to have it looping. You could just have it play and play once only. But this one I like to keep, because the theme is alarms. Generally alarms will loop. So this is the reason why I've done it. And you don't necessarily have to have this attack, decay, release, sustain either. You can completely remove it if you want to. I'll have to quickly, because these will not play unless I turn them all up, so I have to quickly go through all these. This is one Andy Farnell synthesized sounds. So now this needs to be switched on. See, they won't play trailer, so I'm just going to quickly turn a lot of these up just to demonstrate what's going on. If you don't, you'll have no sound source. So now, I'll quickly do this. Just did that one, yep. The alarm. What I did with a lot of Andy Farnell's patches as well. I've had to get the inlets and outlets of the sub patches in the main patch. You need to put inlets and outlets. So the inlet and then the outlet of this audio. And I've got sends, which is like the S Matilda alarm, so sending the audio source alarm, which will go to the receiver of the audio source alarm, which goes into the DAC. And this has just been done to save all this, because if you could just go straight from the DAC from there, but it looks messy. It's just a way of keeping the patch nice and tidy. But with a lot of Andy Farnell, some of it I've kept, and some of them I broke the lines because I don't necessarily, some go slow and some goes fast, and then one of them I just want to go fast. And oh, I've already done this one. Have I done the police one? Yeah, it's good just to play around and see what you think. You don't necessarily have to have things, because as you can see here, I just want this one to go fast and not slow, and I chopped off a lot of the bottom as well. This is another WAV file, this one. So I'll quickly, it's a little bit annoying that you gotta do this. This one's not on the loop, so that one will just play once. So I just did that one. And a warning vehicle. I'm just turning these levels up, sliders should I say, up to anything, just to show you what's going on. So when you walk in, I'll show you a demonstration of the game. So when you're walking around the level, you see the patch bangs. So if I show you up here, you got your military. I'll walk into military. So when you walk in, you'll see it bang, and when I walk out, you'll see it bang. So where's my picture? Oops. So yeah, if you look up here at the top. So in the clouder box, bang, stop, and when I walk out, bang, stop. This will just keep looping because I've set it on the loop. And then stop when I've walked out, or depending when you do the attack, decay, sustain, release, how you play the sliders on the effects. And how to do this, what's important is each of these has the bangs, and these bangs are important because if you right click them, go into properties, they have message area, and it has send symbol or receive symbol. And here on the receive symbol, I put like military underscore alarm on. And this is important because you need the exactly same name here as you would in the script. And on the other one, if I right click, this receive symbol says military underscore alarm off. I've just added colour just to fancy it, so green start, red stop. And these lines of codes are important, which you see on all of them. They have receive symbols, and the name is important too. I'll show you now for the instance, the military one. So basically, this is just the Kalimba code that I was mentioning, and here, where their main PD patch name was, I've now changed it to what mine is. So mine is underscore main bespoke.pd, as you can see here. So this is my main patch. It knows here from the net receiver that it's calling my main patch. This void on trigger enter is the cloud zone in my Unity project. So when the player, which the box is trigger, which is here, when the player walks into cloud zone, it's going to call the Kalimba and send the bang to receiver. And this is the receiver name that I was just talking about here. So right click properties, receive symbol military on. You see military on, so it knows to bang that bang, and it was set off. In my instance, it's a loop of the WAV, and then when the player leaves the trigger exit, when they exit on trigger exit of the collider, the Kalimba PD will send the bang to receiver, and it will call the one that you put. So that, in my instance, I want the military alarm to go off. You don't necessarily have to have it on and off. I mean, you can have military alarm on and then put a completely different WAV in there and put military, you can have like jazz music on. It doesn't matter, as long as you name these and you put the patches working, then it will work. And this is pretty much what I did on my script, because I'm not the best at scripting. I only know very little, so I was quite surprised that I managed to get all these scripts to work. But basically, yeah, it's as long as you got this in, you're calling your main patch, and then the Kalimba sending bangs, it knows what bangs to call. I pretty much did the same to all of them. As you can see, this one's a little bit tricky because the patch was how it first triggered off. I didn't like it, so that's just my way of sending different sends to which way I want the patch to go around. And again, so once they're in there, they're out. And there is another one. I've done like a Boolean one. Which one is it? Self-destruct. Oh yeah, and this one here, as you can see, so it's calling main patch. On the player, I've done a Boolean. So once the player's been in there, and it's false, and once the player's been in there, it's true. So it's basically the WAV on this one will play once and once only during that gameplay, so it won't play again once you go back into that collider zone. So once you understand that, so you've got the cube as trigger, you've added on the script, you're calling your main patch, and then you're sending the Kalimba send back to the receiver. And that's on your main patch. And that's basically how you get PD to integrate with Unity using Kalimba. I really hope this helps. Thank you.